You are listening to
Beach in the Silence.
The Golden Dawn has two famous paintings. One is Eden before the fall and Eden after the fall. Now the fall that they're talking about is, well, in a way is similar to what, I hate to call him Saint Paul. I'll just call him Paul. Said about the fall of man. We're fallen, filthy creatures. Because of Adam's fall, we're all doomed to eternal punishment for the crime of being born. It's beyond me how in 400 AD, when they took Paul's incredibly insane idea and put it before the fathers of an early church, who said, yeah, that's a good idea. What were they thinking? My gosh. But that's where, okay, and I'm sorry, to a certain extent, the Judaism has a little bit to blame for this attitude. But I tell you, Judaism does not embrace the fall of man in that perverse, self-loathing manner. Okay, it's unique to the Christians. I'm sorry, it really is, and what came after. But the Golden Dawn even has this idea of Eden before the fall and Eden after the fall. And you got to admit, we're all here today, and I'm talking here today because I don't feel altogether reintegrated back into Godhead. Something is going on. The reason that we're asleep is that there has been a break, a fundamental break in our consciousness. The cause of it, I don't know. If it's evolution, devolution, our relative position or proximity to the galactic center, whether it's aliens, whether it's the planet Nibiru, I don't know what it is. Frankly, it wouldn't matter if I did know. It can be overcome. People who gain illumination have overcome it. They've returned to this perfection in consciousness. A modern tree of life, or a tree of life after the fall, it's not dealing with anything that has anything to do with anybody's eating of mythological fruit or naked women. Well, maybe it has something to do with naked women. But something happened, or at least we've bought into it, and we are functioning as if this happened. That some cosmic proctologist put on his rubber gloves and reached up there and grabbed that number 10 and pulled it down like that, creating a vacuum between number 3 and between the supernal triad and the next triad, creating a vacuum right there between the ideal and the actual, and created a 10 down there, and created in this vacuum what they call Da'ath. Malkuth and Da'ath were created at the same time. And Da'ath it gets bad press, of course. It's because it's a so-called false Sephiroth. It's in the middle of the abyss, and that's where Corone Zone, the Darth Vader of the Kabbalah, lives. But Doth is knowledge, and you know from where I'm sitting, knowledge is not a bad thing, but it's right there in the middle of the abyss. And that's as high as your ruach, your intellect, can take you. And if you try to figure out the concepts above that, the concepts of 3, 2, and 1, you're going to go bonkers. Because the machinery, your hardware, will not accept that programming. It goes blah, 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 and you go off and you start yourself a world religion. There it is. The 4 Kabbalistic worlds. This is kind of perfect. Just briefly, this is not unique to the Kabbalah, because Plato was talking about this kind of stuff too. Got the material world, this material world of chairs and stuff, and then we've got the blueprints, the ideas for these chairs. So that would be the Yetzirah, the formative world. Then we got the idea of ass resters in general. Okay, just the concept of resting your ass, getting your feet off the ground, and that's Bria, the world of soft cheeses. And then Atzilith would be the world of just the concept of rest. So in the universe, our chairs are down here in Asiya. The blueprints for the chairs, or the idea for the chairs, is in Yetzirah. The humans getting off their feet concept is in Bria, and the general idea of rest would be in Atzilith. So they have a god of rest, an archangel of people getting off their feet, the nerd angels in the engineering department that actually think up the blueprints, and down here the workers that actually put the chairs and stuff together in reality, or in the material world. And our souls, because we're made in the image of deity, our souls are broken up in the same. The animal soul here, which is our bodies and to a certain extent, everything that we share with sentient beings. The ruach, which is our minds, our imagination. The neshama, which is our soul intuition. My classic example is when a mother wakes up in the middle of the night. Her child's been in an accident. She understands. She gets it. She gets the message. Okay, those little Fate magazine stories. Okay, neshama. We're just wallowing around in each other's neshama right now. We're not. It's not limited by time or space. Neshama is really big. Okay, and then we've got the life force itself. So can you see how we're little tiny reflections of the big universe? And I'm going to talk about Kabbalists play a bunch of games with numbers and letters, and in a way the games are just so you get so tired of connecting everything in the universe with everything else that your ruach gives up trying. You break your ruach, okay? And if you do it right, your ruach gets broken and you ease into identification with the neshama. So gematria is where you turn your this is my name, of course. Lon adds up to 30, and my name adds up to 444, which, oh boy, was I excited. I found the secret of the universe. I am the one to follow. I am the Messiah. What does 444 mean? That means jack shit in Kabbalah. It looks good, but it doesn't mean much, And but I had a good time doing it. And while I was doing it, I wasn't drinking martinis or getting into trouble. For no other reason than I wasn't drinking martinis, and I stayed out of trouble during all of those hours that I played with that, and it did its job. My initials, LMD, is the Hebrew letter Lamed. That's why it's Lamed Ben Clifford, Okay. I spell Lon out like this, And I come up with love of new wheat manifests infinitely, life obscures death's unanswered questions, an unknown Egyptian took two animas. Kept me out of trouble. Phyllis was not amused, though, I have to tell you. Okay, you can play with your name, too. Now, when you read the title of today's talk, I know you were probably expecting something about like what I'm about ready to do here. So sorry I wasted your time with that first couple hours. The question really isn't how do I fit my magic into my life? Okay, the question really is how do I become a magician? That's really what the question is, because once you're a magician, everything you do is magic. That's just it. Okay. Many years ago, I was sort of in the position of like giving up my my music career and trying to start to raise a family on sort of a more stable foundation than that of a musician. And I had just joined the OTO, met Phyllis Seckler, formally became her AA student, and I was starting to set to work to do my morning meditations, which included banishing rituals, pranayama, and exercises in concentration exercises. In a way, I was thinking in terms of life. I need to get a job, I need to find work, I need to take care of the family, and then magic. Got to take time out for my magic. Got to take time out in the morning to do pranayama. Time out for morning rituals. Time out to travel up to Dublin, California for magic stuff. And I was missing the big point. Really was missing the big point. Things in my regular life became more or less crap. I lost my last guitar student, and part of the books that were appointed for my study is the Goetia, which is the 72 spirits of Goetia. They're demons. They're actual demons, but they do stuff for you. And I needed stuff done. I needed my life turned around and all of that. I actually wanted to do some magic to actually affect some change right in my life. I wanted to integrate magic into my life. I actually wanted to do something practical. I called Phyllis and said, I think one of these demons can help me get a job or something. I'm going to whip up one of these demons. No, you're not. That's low magic. And she said, just get your holy guardian angel and then you won't need to do that. And which I'm sure was, correct. But that was in 1975, 1976, and quite frankly, I didn't feel that I solidly got my angel until 2010. What if I waited? I whipped up the demon. It's kind of a funny story. It's a comedy of errors. It's just full of my eyes getting burned with oil of a bromelain, and but it worked. It worked, and it gave me kind of a clue as to how this magic worked, what it was about, what it was and what it wasn't. But it really would. I was unprepared to do it. Phyllis knew I was unprepared to do it. But how bad could it be? For Christ's sake, you just walking across the street, you can get in trouble. So fear is, you'll live through it, okay? And I've learned that it's just better to be possessed by a demon than ignored by one, okay? But we've got this idea of high magic and low magic, and as long as you're stuck thinking that there's a difference in anything that you would choose to do to affect a change in your life in conformity with your will, if you're still differentiating them between high magic and low magic, you don't deserve to be integrating this stuff into your life. You got to overcome it. You got to be bigger than that. You have to be a Solomon. You have to be a magician. Okay, this high magic, low magic thing. A lot of people think of high magic as lodge room magic, Golden Dawn magic. You dress up in cool costumes and you strut around indoors. And if you don't have an English accent, you affect one. And so indoor magic, okay. And people, some of the low magic is stuff that you do out in the woods, and it's more house and garden variety stuff, and it's got cool clothes too, and a lot of times no clothes at all. And there's no moral aspersions, high, low. Here, okay? It's just different kinds of things. It's like outdoor magic or indoor magic, okay? Then there's other people that see high magic as the kind of magic that deals with your idea of a hierarchy of spiritual forces in the universe, and that you're dealing with the high one, just the angel stuff, and God. Okay? But have you ever had an angel try to lift something for you? They're real wusses when it comes to actually lifting something. Okay. But anyway, they see high magic as that. Coming from God, as if there is a good guy up there with white hat in the clouds. He's got nice angels. They're pretty, but he wouldn't dare diddle with them, and they do good things, and they're singing about God all day, and that's angel stuff. Okay, and then low magic's from hell. That there's a place that the good God made for disobedient angels, and for some reason they've been given control over life on earth. Just long enough to tempt us, ruin our lives, screw us up, so that we're so screwed up that when we die, we'll be sent there too. It's part of the good plan for your life. High magic uses angels, some people think, okay, and low magic uses Charles Manson on a guppy.
What is that squid doing? What is the squid?
Yeah, he's got a squid. Yeah, squid is right. That's pretty cool. High magic, you kiss God's ass. I love the internet.
We want to get a picture of that one.
I just typed God's ass on Google and then hit images. And it's one of the first things that popped up. It's Michelangelo, okay? Ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. There is a little known and never talked about excerpt in the Bible, I think it's Exodus, where Moses, for some reason, asks God, can I see your face? And God says something to the equivalent of, you can't handle it, man. Here, but I'll show you my ass. And God pulls his pants down, or whatever. Maybe he's like Donald Duck and doesn't have pants. But God moons Moses. Now that I'm a Methodist, okay? I've never heard of that story, but there it is on the Sistine Chapel. Okay, high magic, he kissed God's ass, and low magic, he kissed the devil's ass.